Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, and it's time for a tour today, and it's a tour of my plot. We'll do Debbie's plot and Jenny's plot in separate videos because they're getting too long now. So yeah, and it's also probably the last of the daily videos, so I've been quite enjoying doing daily videos during the lockdown. I've enjoyed it, hopefully other people have enjoyed it too, but the building site next to us is just restarting work, and it just makes it so difficult to record videos for me because it's just so incredibly noisy, and the season of strimming on the allotment as well, and so nobody wants to listen to me talking while something's strimming away like crazy. So yeah, less frequent videos from now on, but I'll do my best. So yeah, let's get on and do a tour. So let's start with a look at the polytunnel, and I'm so pleased with my French beans. And there's loads of little beans now. I don't know whether you can see that. Loads and loads of them. So that's really exciting. I don't think it'll be very long now before we're eating beans, and we haven't eaten beans now since October time, so it's really exciting. Got a little cucumber there, just recovering from the cold nights. Tomatoes are doing great. It's been a few weeks since they were planted, and they're about 3 times the size they were when they were planted. So that's pretty good. I need to put the strings on. I might do that today. I don't put the strings underneath. I just clip them on at the bottom. That's just fine. I'm really pleased with this Trumpuccino variant. It's called Centre Cut. It's just a bit smaller than the standard Trumpuccino, which is pretty good. Very pleased with this one. It's got so many flowers on it. Loads and loads, must be about 20 flowers on it at the moment, something like that. It's great. We prefer it to courgettes, and just wind it up every day, so it's putting on about 2 to 3 inches of growth every day at the moment. It's pretty good. One of my other favourites is the courgette. This is Ambassador. It's pretty good for a polytunnel. It grows nice and vertically. I think we've harvested about 8 courgettes at the moment. Take one every other day off this plant, which is pretty good. Love it in the polytunnel. But just like the beans, this can go outside now really, so I should be clearing space and moving a lot of things outside soon. But the Trumpuccino will stay in here. Peppers are doing alright in here. A little bit of green fly to keep on top of, but not too bad. And peppers under here. Next year I'm in no rush to plant these peppers and tomatoes out. The peppers in particular, if the nights go below 10 degrees C, which they are every night at the moment, it just stalls the growth of the peppers. So there's not a lot of point really getting them planted out other than to make space in the grow room at home. So these are the most advanced of the tomatoes that I've got in the polytunnel, and these are the honey drop grafted. Bit leggy, but not too bad. And then this is the runner bean, and again we've got quite a few beans on here, so I'm quite pleased with this one as well. Not quite as good, not quite as healthy looking. I think it really wants to be outside, so it'll be going outside soon. And just one cucumber there. And the strawberries up here in the roof have finished now. And we've got strawberries outside now as well, so we can take these out and compost them. I think it's best to always start with new strawberries in the polytunnel each year. I'm really pleased with these calabrese. They're such a nice bonus crop. This was a lettuce bed, and then when we had too many lettuce, I just cleared a few down the centre, planted these calabrese in January time, I think, and we've had such a fantastic crop off here of main heads and side shoots, and we eat the leaves as well. Gorgeous, these leaves. And then we clear this bed effectively now and put in the last few peppers. And then this is the furthest on of my sweet corn. It's always nice to have some really early sweet corn. We've not eaten sweet corn now since probably late September, so yeah, it's a really nice bonus. So it's kind of incredible in late May to look at the plot and still see so much plastic here. And that's because it's just not rained, and the plastic actually helps when it's not raining. It reduces the wind, which reduces the evaporation from the soil, and it acts as a bit of a shade. So it's actually kind of weird. It's kind of in its counter purpose really to its use in winter. But they're all propped open like this. Anyway, let's take a look. So first up's this perpetual spinach. It's looking really healthy, and that's partly because I've got it underneath this shade. Everything needs shade at the moment, these young plants. And then those little dots of green are the parsnips. And I've had a few stations where I have not had any germination, so I've just popped some more in there. So in this bed we've got golden beetroot. It's looking really healthy. And last year the golden beetroot was really deformed. It had all these crinkly edges to the leaves and they just didn't grow well. And I put it down to the compost having been contaminated with something. And we had a bed at home and a bed here. It was really weird. Anyway, they grew, but really, really slowly. And these are growing as expected. And then this is red ruble kale. It's a salad kale really, but we let it grow on a bit now and use it for smoothie mixes. It's a fantastic addition. Such a vibrant purple leaf. And then we've got the dwarf French beans. I'm quite pleased with these. We lost quite a few to the frost. In fact, we lost the whole of the first batch to the frost in April. We had a really hard frost. And then in May, we had another, not a hard frost, but I think it was about -3. And we lost about, 20% of them, something like that. So it's nice to see these coming on quite well. And then this is the first of my pepper beds. It's looking pretty good. We did have a few issues with peppers getting green fly. We tried to manage it using neem oil. And I kind of built this little grow tunnel. I mean, it had this tunnel here before, but we just put an extra layer on it by taking one of the coal frame tops off. Gives it a lot more height. But anyway, I'm really pleased with this bed because we've got quite a nice crop of actual peppers in here. Growing pretty well now. And then this is one of my early sprout beds. And we grow the sprouts for these amazing leaves, so we grow them really high density. I think there's about 20 plants in there, just in that square metre. And we've been harvesting those for 3 or 4 weeks now. It's a great way to get early brassica leaves if you want something in addition to cabbage and perennial kale. And this is the beetroot that's gone to seed. And I'm clearing this bed today. But this is what our beds look like if you just don't weed them for a couple of weeks. Just mare's tail everywhere. So we've got a nice mix of kales to go in there. These are the kale plants, some kale reflex and some dazzling blue. And this is what's left of the chard bed. Just try and keep it going for as long as possible. We can't get it to last until we've got replacement chard, but we do our best. It's still pretty good, still some nice quality leaves on it. And we just take these seed heads for smoothie mixes. So all these next beds are carrots or soon to be carrots. So these are my summer carrots. These are my early autumn carrots, just starting to germinate. These are the carrots we're currently eating. We've got two containers left. A few of them are going to seed. That one like that one. Cabbages, which will soon be harvested, but are all hearting up very nicely. And there's some more cabbages down there. And we just got a few peas in here as well, but all that's going to be cleared in June, and that's where the early winter carrots are going. And then down here we've got the winter carrots, and hopefully can actually see fairly good germination down there as well. I know a lot of people just grow carrots in containers, and I do too, but only just for these containers that go in the polytunnel in October, just for early spring carrots and early and mid-spring carrots. So some more early sprouts and early kales. And now we've got the onions. These are the overwintered tough balls. These are the ones we're harvesting at the moment. I think these are Shenchu yellow. That's the next batch to harvest. And then these are stir-on. That's the next batch. And then finally more stir-on. That's the final batch before we switch to the main crops. Asparagus. This is its 4th year. It's been fantastic. Still a little bit there, even though we harvested it 2 days ago. We could really do with some water though. My second pepper bed. It's not looking too bad. And my third pepper bed, in addition to the ones in the polytunnel. And I've got so many peppers this year, just to try and complement the number of tomatoes that we've got. We normally have loads of tomatoes and not as many peppers, but we're looking really just for some use for these low tunnels, which are used obviously all the way in through autumn and winter and early spring. But last year we just had to store them all, but this year we thought, well, we'll give peppers a go in them and see how they do. This is the last of the overwintered salads. I just took all the hearts out of those on Sunday, so we're clearing that bed soon. I think in that one we've got sweet potatoes. And then this is my second succession of sweet corn. It's growing pretty well in here. I do like to protect the sweet corn early on in the season because we always get high winds in May. Sweet corn really doesn't like that, and of course we've had that frost as well. And then one more bed there of chard. Again, just holding on just for a few more weeks. And then these are my early baking potatoes. We did protect them pretty well from frost. Just a few little tips got it, but I'm hopeful still that we should get a good crop off these in early July, hopefully. So it's always been an ambition of mine to get baking potatoes at the end of June-ish. So we'll see. Gooseberries down here, around the edge there. And then this is the main crop onions. And I'm quite pleased with the way these are going. I was doing a video on these only a couple of days ago, so I won't dwell on them. But yeah, we tried to go for optimum density here because we're trying to get lots of medium-sized onions rather than giants. And then these are the summer flowering brassicas. So these are Romanesco cauliflowers, purple sprouting broccoli, calabrese, and Atlantis green sprouting broccoli. I put those in yesterday. Looking okay. And this is one of my favourite beds. Strawberries down the outside, apples and cherries down the centre, and in the very centre we've got these elephant garlic, just ones that we missed when we were harvesting last year. But I actually think I'm going to leave them in subsequent years, see if I can grow some clumps. We are growing for more perennial planting on my plot gradually. So these are the New Zealand spinach. What I did was I harvested some of these self-seeded plants back in February, I think. Transplanted them and put them in the polytunnel for a while in pots, and then planted them back in here, so you can see the difference that predominantly warmer nights make on the growth. So I'm quite pleased with those, the way they're going. And then this is direct seeded golden purslane, and you probably can't see anything at all in here, but some tiny little plants coming through. And then underneath this mesh, which is here to keep the birds off, we've got red ace beetroot and Burpee's golden beetroot. And for some reason, I don't know really why, we've just got a few plants that aren't thriving there. Maybe it's the peas, because the peas are particularly excellent this year. These are mulched peas, Oregon sugar pod, and I'm harvesting these every day. I love them for snacks. But that's a great harvest from only 12 plants, I think. And then the autumn and summer raspberries, looking a bit ragged actually. I suppose it's just all that wind we've been having. And then these are the dregs of those summer flowering brassicas that I just had left over, so I popped those in there. Hopefully they'll pick up. And then the big green blobs are radishes, sown in clumps of 4, harvested in clumps of 4, no thinning out or anything required. And then these are little clumps of New Zealand spinach that I just picked, pinched out with a trowel and popped in here. So this is going to be a big bed of New Zealand spinach once that radish is gone, which won't be long actually. This is actually our last batch of radish until mid-August. We don't bother growing radish over summer. There's so many alternatives. So that's it for my plot. This is just the border down here. So one area where we've got flowers. We're not allowed to grow flowers on the allotment. They seem to not mind in this little strip. We've got cherry tree here, perennial kale here. I say lots of irises, crocosmia, and these little planting pockets. We've got all these alpines all springing back to life. Plum tree, sebum, more alpines, an apple tree, a thornless blackberry, which is growing really well, quite rampant actually. Need to get these tied in, and another apple tree and another perpetual kale, and I'm just currently taking lots of cuttings off here because the whole of this side here is coming out, so it's a big source of potential cuttings. I already have 30 people lined up who want cuttings, so I'm afraid don't ask for any more. So I hope you like this quick tour. Learning so much at the moment from my experiences over the last 4 years, and you know, I'm going to do so much different next year, so it's really exciting, and particularly in the way that I use the polytunnel and the covered spaces on the allotment. Gradually moving to more perennial planting as well, reducing the quantity of things that we grow, but increasing the variety of things that we grow, and particularly focusing on making our diet ever richer. And that's kind of been the journey that we've been on over the last, well, it's been 4 years now, and we grow 250 varieties of food. We're pretty much self-sufficient. Well, we are self-sufficient in veg. We're pretty much self-sufficient in fruit when it's in season, but we still buy it. Yeah, I'm just always looking for ever more variety in our diet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the journey with me. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Allotment Channel.